In case you guys haven't realized yet, we love sports anime.
That's right, and we wanted to put the spotlight on some more iconic and recognizable sports anime.
Just like our previous videos, each pick will be unique in its own way. We're only going to pick one anime to represent one sport. That way, we can have as much variety as possible within these 5 picks.
So without further ado, let's focus on some more iconic and culturally recognizable sports anime.
To start things off, let's talk about Ace no Diamond.
Ace no Diamond is a baseball anime series that follows the life of Eijun Sawamura, a left-handed pitcher with a unique pitching style that makes the ball move unpredictably. The series follows him as he sets a goal to become the ace of Seido High School's baseball team after a bitter loss in his last junior high game.
We see Sawamura is very talented, but he's still very rough around the edges. Early on, we see his middle school team lose due to his error, and at the beginning, we really see him believe that this is the end of the road for him. Fortunately for him, after that game, someone stepped up and saved his career.
After the game, Rei Takashima, the assistant director of Seido High School's baseball team, notices Sawamura's potential and invites him to join the team. From here, we see the journey of Sawamura chasing his dreams of becoming Seido's ace, and along the way, we see other colorful characters get heartfelt and heartbreaking moments.
Also to note, this anime was done by Madhouse and Production IG, so you know the art animation is next level. And I say this because neither of us are actually fans of the sport of baseball, but Ace no Diamond has some amazing moments, and it actually felt really cool to see. It didn't get me hooked on the sport of baseball, but it did make me appreciate it a little bit better. Ace no Diamond is a fun watch. Even though you might not be a fan of baseball, I think there's definitely some elements of the show that you could enjoy.
I agree. There's definitely a whole lot of elements that even someone who isn't into baseball could definitely find themselves watching and enjoying. Of course, you know, it has really good storytelling and animation, so why wouldn't you get hooked on it? And when you talk about baseball anime, this is definitely one of the ones that is rated pretty highly and is up there as far as quality goes.
Moving on, let's talk about one of Lotus's favorite sports animes, Ahiru no Sora.
This is easily one of my favorite all-time sports anime, probably my all-time favorite basketball anime. It's a basketball manga and anime series about a short, weak freshman named Sora, who transfers to a new high school and joins the basketball club.
Sora is determined to win the high school basketball tournament and follow his mother's footsteps so he can also play professional basketball. However, when he joins the team, he finds out the other members are delinquents who don't even practice. It's obvious that Sora's gonna have a lot of obstacles in his journey, but thanks to his dedication, his amazing three-point shooting, he's able to inspire other players to take basketball seriously, and we eventually see him evolve and we see his team enjoy the game and show their passion for the sport.
When Sora joins the high school club, he's essentially playing with plumbers out there. He's like Steph Curry, and they are literally plumbers.
Sora's Steph Curry, then imagine being like 5'2". But you know, Sora's got that dog in him. It's so infectious. You just want to root for him from day one, and that's why so many people start admiring him and respecting him. He might be short, he might be annoying, he might be weak, but you can't deny that that kid's got the dog in him.
And you see this throughout the story of the anime/manga. There's just so many moments where you see Sora just working hard to be the best that he can be. Obviously, he does have that height disadvantage, which reminds me of a very popular sports manga character. I would actually like to bring up Shoyo here, who is also very short and had to deal with a lot of those adversities.
They definitely have some similarities. I do wish Iron and Sora got the same treatment as Haikyuu, and the anime got more than one season. It got the short end of the stick, and they didn't continue the anime. It's still on hiatus, but hopefully we get a second season soon.
It's definitely one of the more underrated sports anime that are out there, and unfortunately, like you said, it never really got the continuation it deserved. I mean, honestly, this anime did not get the justice it deserved. There's so much potential for this anime to be a very popular sports anime.
For our next pick, let's talk about SK8 Infinity. This is a different sports anime. It's not about the traditional sport. It's about skateboarding, actually. SK8 Infinity is about a high school student named Reiki, and he meets a transfer student named Lenga, and these two become friends through skateboarding.
And in the story, Reiki introduces Lenga to a dangerous secret downhill skateboarding race called S that takes place in an abandoned mine. The skaters are known for their intense battles or beefs.
These battles or beefs are intense in the lifestyle of these skaters. They very much ride or die for skateboarding. We see many colorful characters throughout the series who are just so passionate about skateboarding, and shouts out to the voice actors because the dub in this show is absolutely insane.
Hey, bitches and bros and non-binary hoes!
The series is also so wholesome. It's about two friends just skateboarding and just enjoying the time with each other. Reiki teaches Lenga how to skate. Lenga's just a demon at skating. He starts outbeating him. It forces Reiki to start pushing himself to become better and overcome a lot of his fears.
It's definitely a very wholesome anime, and I do want to point out, Lenga is no slouch when it comes to skateboarding. Now, it's completely new territory for him, but he does have a background in snowboarding, which he is exceptionally good at. So that is the one twist with this anime. And a lot of this story is him learning to transferred that skill of snowboarding to skating, and it's just really good to see. And as you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of colorful characters. I mean, Cherry, Joe, there's just so many characters to name, but they all make this anime feel very special and just wholesome all around. And I remember this was one that we quickly came to enjoy. It was a little awkward and unorthodox at first, but I think that's the charm of it itself.
It's overall just such an enjoyable series. Definitely go check out SK8 Infinity. If you're open to it, I think you'll really enjoy it.
Maybe we'll get some more skating anime in the future. I would love to see that. But moving on to some familiar territory, the next anime we're going to be talking about is Aishii. Now, this is one of Tev's favorite anime.
I'm a big fan of football and football anime manga. Aishii is definitely one of those underrated gems. I know we talked about in the past about Blue Lock versus Aishii, but I love both of these concepts very much. Aishii is about a young boy named Ashido, who's from a small town in Japan. Ashido is deemed as a footballing genius in a small town. He's very talented, but he's very rough around the edges.
And during a very crucial match for his team, he makes a mistake and it leads to their loss and elimination from a local tournament. And obviously his teammates are very disappointed, and the whole event, of course, disappointed the potential scout. Ashido genuinely believes that his golden opportunity is long gone.
However, there was a visitor from Tokyo who didn't notice Ashido's abilities, and this man was Tatsuya Fukuda, a former pro player and a football coach of Esperion FC, one of the top football clubs in Japan. He witnessed Ashido's abilities in that match, and he goes out of his way to invite Ashido to join the team.
And just from that alone, you can tell that the story already has a very inspirational beginning to it all. I mean, we're talking about a kid that's literally from a small town. He's very talented, of course, but he's from a small town. Probably has no real eyes on him except for that, one potential scout. And then you get a look from a former pro player who's also a football coach of one of the best clubs right now. That's a wonderful beginning to a story, in my opinion.
And that's what makes Aishii so great. The series follows Ashido's struggles of trying to become a pro player, making sacrifices, trying to support his family, trying to support himself, going through the mental battles, physical battles. Some say Aishii isn't your typical high school soccer anime, and that's correct because the pacing, the lessons learned in the anime, the terminology is also on point completely. I actually want to point out Iniesta, one of the pro Spanish players and one of the best players in the world a few years ago, and he actually went out of his way to say Aishii is one of his favorite mangas. The fact that a pro player like that is speaking on it just shows how great the series really is.
I would have to completely agree with that statement. The story of Aishii is definitely a very beautiful one in the making, and I know most of our audience comes from Blue Lock, so I wouldn't say to expect that same level of intensity that you see in Blue Lock as far as like insane ego and all that, which we love Blue Lock for, but I think Aishii likes to focus on something a little bit different, which I think is a good breath of fresh air if you want to try something different.
For sure. Aishii is not Blue Lock. Blue Lock is not Aishii. They're their own two separate entities. You can like either or more, but as someone who enjoys football and anime as well, Aishii is an underrated gem, like I said earlier. I really hope the second season comes out soon. I've been continuing with the manga. It's very hype right now. If you haven't read or watched Aishii, definitely go check it out, especially if you're a fan of Blue Lock. I want to see how other people react to it.
And honestly, we just need more sports anime in general.
With that, let's move on to our final pick, a rugby anime, All Out. So for those who don't know, I actually played rugby in college. I was one of the star players for my team. I actually got my team close to nationals. It was 2 separate occasions. We won a few trophies. Not to brag, but rugby is a sport where anybody can be a star. It doesn't matter how big, small, skinny, or strong you are. As long as you have the ball, you're able to carry the ball, stop the opponents, make good runs. Rugby is a sport where you could use many different skill sets to become a superstar.
Well, I do want to say, Tev, I definitely love the subtle flex, and you should definitely own that shit. You were a star player, own it. I love that, man. But as far as me, rugby is a sport that I can honestly say I don't know too much about, but this anime is pretty good. It focuses around Kenji and Sumiyaki and their experience in the rugby club, and they're trying to prove that they have what it takes just to go all out, hence the name All Out.
On that first day, he actually meets his friend Sumiyaki, and the two of them got an invitation to the rugby club, but little does Gion know, Sumiyaki was actually a star player back in the day in middle school, and many schools sought him out, and Gion is just this hot-headed short guy who just wants to prove himself relatable. He watches the game and he realizes that it doesn't matter how tall or how big you are, because there's positions for all people in all shapes and sizes, and without any hesitation, he joins the rugby club.
And that's definitely the great thing about rugby as far as I'm seeing, that, like you said, it doesn't matter if you're small or very tall, you can definitely make an impact out there on the field. But immediately convinced that he has found a sport he can excel at despite his short stature, he signs up. And at the beginning of it all, Kenji and Sumiyaki find themselves butting heads with each other and never quite really being on the same page with each other. But through training, they overcome their differences and they aim to become the champions of Hanazono, which is the National High School Rugby Championships.
It's a story about friends getting into sport together, the wholesome interaction of brotherhood, and trying to challenge people better than themselves. A true underdog story. And if you love stories like that, then definitely go check out All Out. out. The anime isn't too long. I believe it's about 25 episodes. The manga is much longer, so if you want to continue it, definitely go do that. I'm saying go check out All Out, or I'm tackling you.
Or Dev's tackling you. To conclude, these were the 5 sports anime picks for this video.
Please let us know in the comment section what you guys thought, which ones stuck out to you the most, what other animes would you like us to talk about, and thank you again for sticking to the end. We appreciate all the love and support. Don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, and don't forget we do have a community Discord as well. The link should be in the description.
Yep, and as always, it's Lotus.
It's Dev. Peace.
Catch you in the next one.